All right, we're having a blast here. It's cold. John, I don't know where your coat is, but we're doing a Prohibition tour, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Today it's a sip of history. We're going to visit places that operated as speakeasies during Prohibition and still operate today.
John, I'm ordering you to get inside. It's so cold out. Krista, I put you in a flapper dress today. Look at that.
Yes, it's freezing, but I'm ready.
But I need you to get inside too, guys. It is so bitterly cold. So it's bitterly cold, which is the reason why we are inside. And Krista Green's joining me here. And Krista, you got my hat, right?
Yes, John Hansen, you can't continue this hit without your hat.
Right, so why are we wearing this? Why is Krista in a flapper dress? We're celebrating 100 years since the ratification of Prohibition. I don't know if celebrating is the right word, Grant, but we're here at Harry Carey's. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, there's a lot of history here in this building.
Well, yeah, the building was built in 1895, and as we were talking earlier, Harry was born before Prohibition, and during his prime drinking years, between 5 and 19 years of age, he missed a little bit.
I'm sure Harry Carey found his way to a bud at some point during that time.
Yeah, we think Harry counted he drank 300,000 alcoholic drinks in his lifetime, so I'm sure he started early during Prohibition.
Not a fan of Prohibition, I imagine, right?
No, it's probably the worst. Yeah, he was the big guy celebrating when it was finally over, for sure.
Exactly. So, Grant, we're going to learn a little bit more of the history. We've got some really cool photos about this building, but there is a sort of mob tie into this building, right?
Yeah, Frank Nitti and his family owned the building for over 30 years.
Oh, wow. We're going to talk more about that. Krista, can you stand up and give us like a little move here or something?
Yes, I can, yes.
Look at that sparkling dress.
Check this out. I am a flapper today, and I gotta say, if Harry Carey's starting early, I don't think I see a problem with John Hansen starting early in the 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
What am I drinking, Grant?
George Remus. He was the king of bootleggers.
All right, well, I am the king of bootleggers today. More on the history of not only Harry Carey's, but some other bars. A little sip there. Well, before we get to outside, let's talk about inside, because Krista, we got a drink here. We're doing a cheers. And Krista, that dress is incredible. You feeling like a flapper. Give us a little move,
gosh,
girl.
Yes, and check these pearls on my shoes. I am pearled out head to toe.
All right, so we took a little drink here, John, and 100 years ago, the final state that was needed to ratify Prohibition ratified it, right around this time 100 years ago. That gave people how long to finish their drinks?
Gave them 1 year. They gave plenty of time to stockpile, get their drinks in, and they knew that in 1 year later, it would go into effect.
So all these bars started game planning what they were going to do, including a place like Harry Carey's. Well, before it was Harry Carey's, right?
Yeah, not just the bars, but all the people. I mean, for private, bringing it into the house, everything they could. So,
all right, so you're running a Prohibition bus tour. Where can people find out more information about that, by the way?
You can find us online at prohibitiontours.com.
All right, you want to give me a little twist here, Krista? What do you want to do?
I'm going to cheers you, I'm going to spin, and we're going to drink.
Right,
cheers, everybody.
We're going to drink. We got 1 more year to drink on up, and you might want a cocktail today. We're having a blast here. Cheers, Krista. We're having a good old time. What do you think about the 20s and the dress and everything?
I love it. I'm loving this dress. I wish I could wear it every day. And I gotta say, if there was a time I could go back to, I think it'd be the 20s.
I like that as well. If I were in the 1920s, this wouldn't be my beard. You'd be my beard. All right, let's talk to John here. Prohibition Tours. You always stop here at Harry Carey's first, right?
Absolutely. This is our starting point. It's a Chicago icon, and there's just so much history in this building.
That's great. And speaking of the history, Krista.
Yeah, Graham, we are standing in such a historic place. Can you tell us a little bit about the history?
Yeah, the building was built in 1895 by Henry Ives Cobb, who worked on the Columbian Exposition. It was originally a varnish company. And in the 1930s, Frank Nitti and his family got control of the building.
Frank Nitti, that's a name that sounds familiar to me, but to folks at home, remind us who Frank Nitti is.
Yeah, he was Capone's enforcer, and when Capone went to jail, he ran the mob for like another decade. But he was like the mastermind, the money guy behind the whole thing.
What was his fate, by the way?
Well, he killed himself. It was a battle. He tried extorting Hollywood, and someone had to go to jail, and he didn't want to go back to jail, so he killed himself.
I wish I would have known the answer to that before I asked that question here on Morning TV. And you found some cool stuff here. Krista, we've been exploring
what is this secret room here?
Yeah, so it was weird. We opened in 87. In 1998, an electrician was drilling through this wall and found that there's something behind it. We found a hidden room that's 85 feet long, 16 feet high, and there's the door that goes to the hidden room, and it was connected to underground tunnel system. So Frank Nitti could come and go underground with no one seeing him. You know, the courthouse was across the street, so he kind of take a look what's going on and come and go as he pleased. We also found a safe buried in a wall.
Wow!
We had to get some safe crackers to open it up. There was no money in it, but every so often customers leave money in there for other people to find. We found an address book buried in a wall that had mobsters' home phone numbers in it, an alderman, and a sports bookie.
That's great.
It seems like we're always finding new things as we look.
And you'll continue to show them off here on the Prohibition Tours. Obviously, you can take a tour yourself. Krista, we're inside. We're warm. People should be too, right?
Yeah. So, Jonathan, people walk through these doors and they don't even know the history of this place. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the one place that we are almost positive that Al Capone actually controlled. He ran the women, he ran the booze. This was a former brothel. They identified it by a sconce that was behind him in a Tribune picture, and they realized that was their upstairs. So this place has a lot of great sort of little nooks and crannies that people could hide in, sneak booze through. Just a real old-fashioned speakeasy.
And you mentioned Capone's territory. I think if people don't know out there, Capone had the South Side, right?
Absolutely. So we're barely on the South Side. Southsiders wouldn't consider this the South Side, but yeah. So his Lexington hotel was right off of Wabash, not too farther south of where we are right now, and pretty much controlled this entire area here.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So Prohibition Tours takes you to all these bars. Jonathan, I know there's a secret door in the back. Why don't you go back and do some business,
Absolutely.
okay?
I got some business.
You got some business to do.
And while he's doing that,
Yes.
John, I think it's only right that I show you a 1920s dance.
Let's do it.
You want to learn? Okay, it's the Charleston.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is you're going to take your right foot, put it in front, take it in the back. Now left foot in the back, and left foot in front.
Ooh, yeah.
And you can kind of put your
repeat
hands
it.
up, get
There
some
we
knees
go.
in there.
Yeah.
Now we are in the 20s. We are celebrating Prohibition.
Am I
Those
doing
last
okay,
drinks
Krista?
people are getting.
I
You're
want to do
doing okay.
jazz fingers for everything, by the way.
I mean, I'm
That's
going
just
to
kind of who I am. We're at Butch McGuire's right now, and it's got a lot of Prohibition history. And Krista, you're a regular here.
I am indeed. I love this bar, but I'm learning so much this morning. In Chicago, we want you to learn too. So, Sydney, tell us the history of Butch McGuire.
Yeah, so Butch McGuire's has been just about everything during Prohibition. It was a brothel, then after Prohibition, it was a strip club and a gambling den, and now it really has kind of cemented its iconic singles bar kind of vibe it has now. So
And what was
Which
it?
explains why I'm a regular.
That's right.
I never knew that stuff.
Yeah, and what was the name of it during the 20s, by the way?
So it was Kelly's Pleasure Palace.
I want to go to Kelly's Pleasure
yeah.
Palace. That sounds great. Okay, so we got to chat a little bit about Prohibition in general because, look, we're only 10 blocks. Look, people think of Prohibition, it's fun, it's drinking. It was violent in Chicago. We're only 10 blocks away from one of the most violent days in our history.
Very much so, yes. So the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened up a couple blocks away at 2122 North Clark Street. Yeah, very violent in Chicago during the time period. Even Lucky Luciano, the head of the New York gang, said, do not visit Chicago. It's too violent in this city. So.
And yeah, and people, I mean, like, there's pictures in the newspapers of people shot. I mean, it's a really violent time, but certainly the fashion, everything. I mean, Krista, you're rocking that dress.
Yes, thank you so much.
And we got to thank Chicago Costume as well. They not only dressed me, but they dressed Krista
We
in
are
that
right in the
wonderful
Prohibition
thing.
era.
All right, so we're talking about Prohibition. We've been taking the tour. John, remind people again where they can get more information.
They can find more information at prohibitiontours.com. And thanks for coming out and taking the tour. Hopefully other folks will want to follow your lead.
And the bus is warm, right?
It is warm. Warm enough today.
Yeah, warm enough today to move around. Krista, I've loved the tour that we've been able to get here, but
Me too.
I got to end with a drink. So, barkeep, let's get a little drink on over here.
You
here
gotta
we go.
stay warm with that
What
drink
I
because-
get here?
Lagunitas IPA.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that was around in 1920s. Lagunitas there. Should everyone get the day off work today?
Yeah.
No, we need more than that. Should everyone get the day off work today? Okay, unfortunately, they actually have to go to work right now.